All right, everybody, welcome back to Muse. I am speaking with Neal McDonough. I am so excited to be talking to you. Oh my
Thank you,
gosh.
Hannah. Good morning. Good morning. Good
Good
afternoon.
morning. I just want to say congratulations. This film looks so wonderful. I am so excited to be speaking with you about it. I want to start off with, what is it that drew you to Homestead in particular? Was it the character? Was it the plot? Like, what was it for you? And also, if you can tell our audience a little bit about who you play and just a little sneak peek behind the curtain for that.
Well, the whole thing all started with Reve and I have been producing our own films now for the last couple of years, and Homestead being one of them.
Mhm.
But it's the relationship that we have with Angel Studio that really got this one in front of me, and we're so blessed and happy for it. Angel Studio, look, what they do is exactly what we're trying to do, and to have that as our home for distribution is really it's perfect. So what we're trying to do is make films that the whole family can sit in the theater and watch a film together and then discuss the film after, and the way that we used to do when I was a kid. I always say that, Sunday nights was Lawrence Welk and Wonderful World of Disney, and then we'd sit down after and just talk about things and hang out as a family. And that's what Homestead is, and the shift. And what we have coming next, The Last Rodeo, that I wrote and produced all with Reve and starred alongside Reve in that one. We'll get to that one later. And it's all through Angel, because they're doing the kind of films that we've always wanted to do, and they have the bravery to actually put their money where their mouth is and make these films that not only give glory to him, but just make these morality plays. So you don't have to be just Christian. You can be Jewish, Muslim, Buddhist, agnostic, atheist, whatever the case is. These are movies and TV shows that challenge you to be the best version of you after you see a film like this. And my character, Ian Ross, here's this Richard Branson type of character, this billionaire who has everything. And then the world comes to a crashing halt with what happens with the nuclear bomb that went off. So what is he prepared to do as a man, as a family man? How does he protect his family? But then as it progresses, how does he protect those in his neighborhood? Does he let them through the gates? Does he push them back? Does he share the food that might run out at some point? What is the right thing for him to do as a man? And those are the questions that we all delve into, I should say, every single day, as a parent, as a husband, as a coworker. And those are the films that we love making, that make you think, how can I be better? And what would happen if I get called out on it? Am I really the person that I say that I am? And those are the films that I've always loved being part of. And now we get to make them together with Angel Studios. And we're so proud of Homestead and how it makes the audience really think. They're going to love it.
I love that. I like have tears in my eyes. I love Angel Studios so much. I've actually just I've starting to like break into watching their materials in particular. I actually just started watching The Chosen. I'm like on season 2 already, and I love it.
Unbelievable. It's
It's great.
unbelievable.
It's amazing. Don't even get me started.
Dallas Jenkins is an absolute genius for
Yeah.
coming up with the idea, and not only coming up with the idea, loving the idea so much that he'd write and direct it all and just have his thumbprint of quality to make sure it stays that quality. And, it's guys like Dallas Jenkins, it's, the Irwin brothers, the Kendricks, paving that road for us all to be able to make films that give glory to him. And they don't have to be saccharine sweet. They can talk about real issues. Homestead, we talk about real issues. What if a bomb goes off? What are you prepared to do, and what are you going to do? It's just great. It's important filmmaking, and it's great to have a film where the whole family can sit around and think about, okay, who am I, and what am I prepared to do to make the community that I live in better? And as a human, how can I make the world a better place? And the films that we're making and aspiring to make, that's what they're all about, how we can make the world a better place. And we're very, very, very excited about Homestead, Angel, The Last Rodeo, and all the films we have coming up with those guys.
So amazing. I'm so excited for you. I'm curious to ask you, especially from an actor's perspective, but then also obviously having even much more of a hand in it than just acting. When you're coming up with films like this, and again, one of the reasons why I love Angel Studios so much is, like you mentioned, they have the ability to tell these stories, but it's not. But if you don't identify with a certain religion, you can still enjoy it. Like,
Yeah.
That's what I really, really like. And I think that's it's definitely gotta be challenging, I'd imagine, to be able to really get these stories across with like this underlying tone, but without you don't want to deter an audience. You don't want somebody of some type of religion to feel like they have to be of that religion that they're seeing on the screen, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well,
What
I
does
think with Homestead and with The Last Rodeo to play, both the characters are similar in that they're not true believers. They're
okay.
believers-ish, and then
Mhm.
they get called out, and then they
Right.
fall apart. And then after they fall apart, they realize that he is there for us, and there are amazing things at our fingertips if we just believe. And doesn't you don't have you can be of any faith. And I think when you get called out on your faith, and all you look at all the religions of our time,
Mhm.
when you get back to the beginnings of them all, it's all about how can we be better to our brothers and sisters. It doesn't matter what race or belief or whatever you are.
Right.
That's kind of like what the idea is for all religions, and man kind of messes things up as time progresses. But that's what this is. This is an all-encompassing message of how can you be better as a human being for our Lord. And he comes in very different names from different places all around the world. So I love delving into that part of filmmaking instead of just preaching to one type of people. We're
Right.
preaching to the world. We're preaching, and so I'm sure the word preaching is the right word for it. It's we're putting lessons out there for people to really think and learn from. And to me, that's kind of important filmmaking that I think has been lost a little bit over the years. But now we're really speaking to the heartland of America and the heartland of other countries overseas, but how we can band together as a group and aspire to do the right thing. That's
Yeah.
the challenge of being a great human being. And I think those are the subjects that we're really talking about. And I just love it.
I love this conversation. I'm so glad that we're having this because I just agree. Like I can't think of anything stronger to say right now other than like I just agree with you completely. I'm curious to ask you, in terms of developing the character of Ian, what did your process look like? What were the trials and tribulations? Maybe what came even easier than maybe even expected as you're developing this character and stepping into his shoes? What did your process look like?
Well, I think by playing so many villains in my career, because obviously I won't do kissing scenes or sex scenes with other women. Although in The Last Rodeo, I finally do kiss a woman on screen for the first time in a feature film, and that
Oh,
woman, of course, is my wife, Reve. It's beautiful.
I love that.
Oh
Oh
no,
my
it was
God.
awesome. Hannah, it was
That's
like,
awesome. I love
I'm
that.
famous for one or two takes, but that day I was like, nah, I need one more. No, I need another take. I need to kiss
That's
her the
so
third time.
cute, Nia.
And it
Oh
was
my
it was just, and our kids were there like,
God.
Dad, that's enough. Okay, you're groping mom now. Please
Like I
stop.
love your mom. Watch it.
Stop.
That's so
Um,
cute.
so gosh, you got me out. You got me off. I started thinking about that scene with Reve.
You're fine.
Um, but it's for the character of Ian, he's a family guy, and I'm a family guy. So Ian was very, very similar to me.
Hmm.
You could take minus the billions of dollars, but it's all about the love of your wife, the love of your kids, the love of your family, and protecting them at all costs. And that's kind of me. I think growing up Irish Catholic in Boston, you protect your family, and sometimes you have to do whatever it takes to protect your family. That's Ian Ross, and he does anything it takes to make sure that his family is protected and provided for. But then when he has to come up with you know, what is he going to do with everyone that's outside those gates? Is he
Hmm.
going to let them in? And he pays for his bravery in the end, and it's pretty awesome stuff. And to play a character like this, that's that all-American. I just had Tulsa King come out this last weekend, which is just an awesome character opposite Sylvester
Congratulations,
Stallone.
by the way. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
and we had a ball all year playing back and forth with each other. But again, for him and for Sly's character, my character, very similar. We're taking care of our family. We're taking care of our stuff, and we're going to protect it at all costs. And I just love those types of characters. But
Right.
now to do it within the confines of what Angel Studios makes, in a
Mhm.
film that the whole family can sit down and watch together and discuss after, I don't know what's better. And it's just I'm in a really great spot. Reve and I at the McDonough Company have been blessed to be able to saddle up with Angel Studios and make really great content that's important filmmaking that gives glory to him. I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be more content. And again, it's guys like the Irwins and the Kendricks and everyone else that have allowed us to have this lane now to go down. And with Angel Studios backing, look, their films are turning profits, all of them. And why is that?
Yeah.
Because America, especially the middle part of America, wants
Mhm.
to be answered to their desires in film and television, and they're giving it to them, and it's working.
It's incredible. I'm so glad that we are heading in this direction. And I'm so glad, obviously, with having people like you and having Angel Studios and just starting to really open up this conversation. I'm curious to ask you, especially I've been in the industry now for since about 2019, and I'm curious to ask you
Me too.
from as a believer myself, what have you I guess like what have you noticed and what have been like the trials and tribulations that you face that obviously now with partnering with Angel Studios and working on projects like this, like you're in a spot that you're probably, I'm sure you've always strived and tried to be in, because it is an industry where it's very interesting balancing faith and not compromising morals and values. And even for you to like not have had to like do scenes where you've kissed other women and you got to save that for your wife, like what is the secret for that? Like so many people come into this industry and compromise so much.
Stupid,
You
stupid faith, in my, I'm lucky, years ago I got crucified for it, and then I didn't work for a couple of years and I lost everything. And,
Oh,
Reve was there helping me through it, and God
yeah.
was there helping me through it. And then I had to overcome, alcohol. And, I've been sober now for 9 years. And you look at the last 9 years, my gosh, I wish I had done it earlier, because it just gave me such clarity as to what I should be doing as not just as an actor, but as a child of God, and to be able
Right.
to make projects that everyone, no matter what your faith, can watch these films and TV shows and think, you know what? If he could get through that situation, maybe I can get through that situation. And as corny as that might sound, I love that stuff. I love the end of John Wayne's career with the Cowboys and the Shootist. And
Yeah.
the Cowboys to me is one of my favorite films, because here's this guy, he's about my age and he's a dad. And, all he has is these young boys to help, get this cattle across the country. And what
Mm.
he does as a paternal character, and, the moral things that he has to stand by. I love those issues. I love talking to those things. And now I get to do them on screen. I mean, opposite some great actors. It's just, I'm in a really cool spot right now, and I'm not taking it for granted. I know that, I'm in a place right now where I get to make things that I know are not only make me happy, but make the world happy and give God glory. Boy, that's a potent combination.
Love it. I love that. I love hearing you talk about that. Like, because it's straight up. It's just it's hard to balance.
The world's a hard place right now. There's so much
It's so hard.
divisiveness, and
Yeah.
who do you trust, who do you think, and this. And I can't watch the news, I can't watch stuff, because it's just,
Yeah.
you don't know what the real truth is. Well, if you make films that talk about these issues, you get to decide what your own truth is.
Hmm.
So that's important filmmaking, instead of always making, and I'm guilty of it. I've been in some very dark films and TV shows, and I've done some things that, I don't want to say that I'm not proud of, or I am proud of. I'm proud of everything that I've done. I'm
Right.
blessed that I got to be part of all these characters to learn.
Hmm.
I, ever since I joined the Angel team, I always say, I was, being a baseball guy, I was in AAA for so long trying to get into the big leagues, and they
Hmm.
finally let me into the big leagues, and I'm just swinging for the fences every time, because I want to make sure that I stay in the big leagues and make great projects for the people and the fan base, so that when they come to the stadium, that stadium is packed, and I'm not going to let anybody down. And I get to do that with Reve. Come on. It's just
Love
awesome.
it.
Yeah,
Oh, that's amazing. Oh my gosh. I'm so just taken aback. I'm curious to ask you from my understanding, this is going to be a film that's eventually going to transpire into a TV series. I understand that you are not involved in the TV series, correct?
that's right.
But I'm curious just to ask you from your perspective. I've not really seen or heard much for like a film going into like a TV series. What can you speak to that at all, and the process of that, or the decision, or basically like the why of it all too?
Yeah, I mean, I think Angel kind of lends itself perfectly to, they'd call it a backdoor pilot in the
Hmm.
television world, but
Hmm.
you don't necessarily hear backdoor films, so
Yeah,
this is
exactly. Yeah.
a whole different thing that they're doing. And, the film that we have coming out, The Last Rodeo, that too is going to go towards, and that's
Okay.
why becoming a TV series, because
Wow.
it just delves in the whole world of the rodeo, which no one's really done yet. And the
Right.
film is, John Avnet directed it. And I'll tell you this,
Mhm.
he's directed Fried Green Tomatoes, Up Close and Personal, years of Justified, and movies and TV shows that we've done together. I love John Avnet like a brother, and he gave me the opportunity to be in Boomtown 25 years ago. And ever since then, we've been great friends. And when they said, "Well, who do you want to direct this?" and Reve and I are like, "Well, there's only one choice. It's John Avnet, if we can get him."
Yeah.
John said yes. And what he did with The Last Rodeo is building this amazing world around, around rodeo. But it's really about family more than anything. And to
Mhm.
turn this into a TV series about the team side of rodeo and what's going to happen for my character is just, it's so exciting. It's so terrific. And it's all with Angel Studios. So we're really fortunate as to what's coming on the pipeline for the McDonough Company. And we don't want to let anybody down. We don't want to let the audience down. So we keep on pushing hard to make sure that we're making the best content possible for the heartland of America.
Definitely. I'm curious to ask you before I let you go, in terms of, especially like you mentioned, you're really trying to make sure that your audience is very much catered to. And I love that, because even like my mom, for example, she's like the suburban mom, very Christian. Like she loves watching things that fall into this category, movies and TV and everything like that. So I think that you guys obviously have such a great understanding of your audience, and I think that that's wonderful. How how does the process look like to be able to make sure that you are like, do you have like a, like some type of like an outreach program or something like that, or are you able to like kind of poll the area and like see like what it is that people are looking for and craving, or like what does the process look like to appropriately cater to the heartland of America like you were mentioning?
I think just digging deep inside and coming up with stories that will entertain the heartland of America, and then you put the message in alongside it. I guess, when it came
Mhm.
for the last rodeo, we were doing a Western at the time that Hervé and I were producing called The Warrant Breaker's Law, which was a great, great film with INSP. And the whole idea of everything started with INSP when I did the first Warrant film that I helped produce. And ever
Yeah.
since then, we produced a bunch. And I was like, oh, wait a second. So I can make these films for the heartland of America that have a message for him. Hmm, let's try another one. And then we did another one. And then we did another one. And they just keep on getting bigger and better. So I'm not sure if it's, for the last rodeo, it was what would ever happen if I lost Rebay?
Oh.
And that was kind of the whole impetus behind writing a story that, has really just touched me. So then we were doing a Western at the time, like, oh, wait a minute. What if it has something to do with the world of the rodeo? And then I came up with the idea of that my character was this one-time megastar in the rodeo world, and his wife dies of brain cancer. And then he goes off and gets drunk and rides a bull and breaks his back. In the last 15 years, he's just been in this personal hell.
Mhm.
And his grandson now who was the love of his life, he gets a brain tumor the same as my wife does. And I have no money. My daughter has no money. So the only way to get back to raise money for his operations is to go back and to ride the PBR and ride bulls again. And people think, well, you're in your 50s, you'll die.
Right.
And what happens thereafter is pretty awesome entertainment. So I'm so excited about it. The bull riding in Last Rodeo is just, you've never seen a film with this kind of bull riding. It's just incredible. And John Avnet killed it. And so when you ask, how do I come up with these ideas? I think that I'm more of a conduit for him, and he just keeps putting ideas into me about, okay, how about a story about Cain and Abel in the West as a Western? Well, that's an interesting idea. I've never heard that one before. Or this other film we did called Jack's Kids that we're just finishing up right now writing. That really takes that it's just another awesome piece without giving away too much information about that. But we just keep on writing. And my writing partner Derek Presley, we started with Redstone for a $350,000 budget, sold
Wow.
that, made money, and then we did another one for part two, which was Boone that Reve raised the $1.5 million for, and we sold that, and that made money. Then the Warrant 2, Black Spartans, now we got Last Rodeo, Shift, Homestead, all these films that we've been making. We're just busy beavers trying to make the best thing that we can to make sure the audience is entertained and we're giving glory to him. Pretty simple.
I love it. Oh my gosh, Neil. I could go on for hours. You are so cool. And I just want to say thank you. And
Thank
thank
you.
you for all, like, just to put it bluntly. And thank you also for just, being very open about your faith. And I'm noticing a shift culturally now where a lot more people are starting to come forward online on social media, especially, and like kind of just like outwardly express it. And I love to see it. I love having people like you in the industry. And it feels really good to be able to connect and to be able to speak with somebody else that is like, we're in alignment. And I think it's so awesome. And I've been craving like this. I really am just so grateful that we've had this opportunity to chat and connect. I love Angel Studios. You're amazing. And I just think that you guys are onto something so great. Keep creating. We need more of it. And thank you so much for just everything that you've contributed. And thank you for giving glory to him, because I'm right there with you. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Hannah. Those are beautiful words. I much appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. And speaking for Reve, thank you.
Love that. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much.